the main sparring partner for Tank Davis for Lamont Roach?
Yes, the main, the only.
The
Yeah,
only, right?
the only. I don't know why. Everybody asks me, why did he only have you as a sparring partner? I'm like, shit, I can't tell you why, but I wasn't complaining. I was getting all the work, all the experience.
That's dope, man. That's
Good.
really, really
You
dope.
got cut
Yeah.
off. Oh, someone's calling you, right?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I put it in do not disturb.
Oh, okay. You're gonna have to come out and come back in though, because you're pitch black right now.
All right. Let me see.
Right. So this is Joseph Mercado, the sparring partner for Gervonta Tank Davis, the only sparring partner for Tank Davis against Lamont Roach.
Oh
So
wow.
we're back. We're back.
Sorry about that, bro. My bad, my
He's
bad.
blaming the sparring partner, bro. Come
So
on now.
listen,
Okay, go ahead.
everybody's blaming you why this was a draw, bro. Nah.
Right, right. I know everybody be asking me like, what happened, and I'm like, bro, in sparring he was sharp. In sparring, like he looked phenomenal. It was great work. Like, cause I've seen him spar before too, so he looked the same as he did in other sparring sessions for different camps. But I just think it was something on the outside that we didn't know what was going on. Maybe something mental, But it is what it is. I mean, he's still Tank at the end of the day. So, I think he'll do better next time around for sure.
So tell me, how was that experience? How was the power? Talk to me. How many rounds?
The power was real, and keep in mind, I mean, I fight at 122. I was walking around in sparring anywhere. When I first got there, I was a little heavy, like 140, but during the peak of camp, I was walking around like 32, 33, 34. Just being ready in case I was going to fight. But yeah, the power was real. The power was real. I mean, we had 16-ounce gloves on, the headgear. So, still felt it. Still felt it. But yeah, we won a lot of rounds. I mean, from the first day, we only started with three. We did 3 rounds. And then the second to last week was the most we've done. We did 13 that Monday and then 12 that following Wednesday. So we went 12 a couple times. We did the 13, the 10, then just started tapering down, The last week before the fight, we just did 8, 6, and, that was it.
Mm.
So it was,
Uh,
yeah, it was the most rounds I've ever done in the camp, definitely. So it benefited me as a fighter for sure.
um, what's the biggest thing you took out of that spar? All those spar rings. I mean, how many days was it?
Like twice a week. Yeah, usually we spar like twice a week. Um and I mean it was 7 weeks, so bro, we got close to 80 rounds, maybe more throughout the duration of the camp. And it just gave me a lot of confidence, man, because I was doing my thing, I wasn't in there just being a sparring partner. I was in there, getting my licks in as well. So it gave me a lot of confidence. I soaked a lot in, and especially that second to last week, because that's like when he was in his real fight mode, and he was trying to get me out of there, bro, for real. It was nothing personal, but he was trying to get me out of there, and I was just like, I held my own and did more than held my own. I got my shots in, and there was times where I had him frustrated. Even his coaches were, in awe, because they were like, damn, like this dude is the real deal for sure. He's not just a sparring partner.
Mm. So how long have you known Tank?
That was actually the first time I really got to know him. I met him once briefly before when he was in Vegas for the Frank Martin camp, because he was doing his sparring at my gym, pound for pound. So, I just said what's up to him, but I never actually had met him, like, introduced myself until I was in DC. But from the jump, he was cool. He's a real cool dude, like, he's a good guy.
Mm, mm. Now, those rounds that you felt like he was trying to get you out of there, you said that they were closer to around fight time. Tell me, bring the fans into like what you had to deal with.
Man, I had to deal with a lot of pressure. Like he was coming, cuz I was moving a bit. The first time when we did the 13, I was in the pocket a bit more, and I was trading with him, and but then I was also getting hit more. So I was just like, shit, the next time around I'm going to move a little bit more, use my feet more. But both times he was just like getting in or trying to get into my head mentally, but I was good at keeping my composure. But there was times where after the round finished, he would follow me to my corner and he would stand there in the corner with me until the bell rang, and then we go right back at it. And I was just like, I was like, damn, like I felt I was like I was in a fight for real.
Wow, wow, wow. That's interesting. That's interesting.
It
So
was
this was
intense.
so where are you based out of?
Vegas. Yeah, originally from California, but I grew up in Vegas, been fighting in Vegas since I was 10, 12 years old. Had 70 amateur fights. Most of my amateur fights were as an elite. I didn't have my first national tournament until I was 19. So from 19 to 23, I had got about maybe 50 amateur fights. So I had a total of 70, and I beat some good guys in the amateurs. As an elite too, we weren't little kids. I beat some guys in the elite division. We were already men. Not grown men, but we were already men. Guys like Bruce Carrington, Giovanni Marquez, Charlie Sheehy, Aaron Aponte. Guys that are all
Aaron
fighting on
Aponte.
ESPN, the Zone. Overtime. So some guys that are definitely notable fighters that are doing their thing. So me, I didn't get signed coming out of the amateurs because I was just like, it was like a flash. I came up quick and made my name and made a statement, but didn't get signed. So from the jump, it's just been tough. Like I had to go the Mexico route, but I was paying out of my own pocket, so that kind of got a little too tough financially. And then I just been taking fights and any fight that I can here and there, but it's been a minute since my last fight just due to reasons out of my control. But I'm always ready. I'm the type of fighter that I'm just always ready. I'm always in a camp or I'm always focused, like so, whenever the call comes, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, let's go. I'm down.
Tell me, knowing that you got the call for the Tank Davis camp, do you feel like he was a better fighter while watching him, or where did you view him a little bit different while sharing the ring with him?
That's a good question. I think it evened out, because I already knew going into the sparring. I'm like, because I seen him before. I'm like, yeah, this, he doesn't come to just move around, like he's coming to put in work to take your head off. So I already knew mentally I was prepared. I was like, I knew what I was getting myself into, and in the sparring, I mean, from the first day to the end, like there was an increase in how sharp he was. Obviously, like he got sharper as the camp went on. So, but we both did. We were both sharpening each other up. So he got better and I got better. But yeah, it was tough sparring. It was definitely the toughest sparring mentally and physically. All the rounds we did. That I've done in my career thus far.
Hmm. At what point in time did you feel like you noticed something different about yourself? Like kind of not necessarily giving yourself a compliment, but something in that sort that you sat back after one of those sparrings and said, I'm better than what I thought. And what was that? What I mean, you don't need to talk too much about it, but like, for the fans to know, who you are at with that type of caliber fighter.
Yeah, definitely. I would say like in the middle of the camp, maybe like once we started doing like the longer rounds, and I was right there with them, whether we were doing 8, 10, the 12, the 13, I was like, when I was doing good, I was winning rounds, and the coaches that were there helping me at his gym, they were giving me good advice to, make good adjustments, and I was listening well. So I think during that whole time, that experience, it was just giving me so much confidence. And I'm like, man, if I could be in the ring, I know it's only sparring, but regardless, it's still a fight. So it's like if I could be in there with guys at that pedigree, getting my shots in and getting the better of certain rounds of moments, then, I know that I have a bright future.
Is he the hardest hitter that you've been in there with, or if he is, rank is power, and if he's not, who was?
Yeah, no, he definitely is. He definitely is. Not only because he's just so powerful, but also the weight too. I mean, he wasn't super bigger than me, like, but obviously he had a little bit of weight on me. Me coming from, I'm a 122 pounder, so he's a 135. But But yeah, either way, even if we were closer in weight, I think he would still be the hardest puncher that I've been in there with thus far.